See Red Nation, what is good? Question on the table today as the All-Star break is closing in. Should the Chicago Bulls be buyers or sellers? Let's talk about it right after this. As always, it is your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. And if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page because we do talk Chicago sports weekly. I've seen that about 50% of y'all ain't subscribed. Y'all just be enjoying the content, which I love. I appreciate y'all for tuning in with your boy. But man, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead, hit it. It's right there. Do it right now. Hit the subscribe button. Go ahead, hit it. Hit it. But anyway, whether you do or not, hey, let's get to the video. Bulls made a little bit of news yesterday after Shams Charania put out an article in The Athletic talking about essentially that the Bulls have heavy interest in Andre Drummond and have called the Cavaliers about him. And so it brings on the question to me, should the Bulls be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline this season? And I think there's a couple things you really have to look into. I mean, when you look at this Bulls team, how it's currently constructed, one, the main thing that you have to look into, and the main reason that I've said I've kind of fallen off with the trade scenario talk, which is why I really didn't make the Andre Drummond video, should we trade for him? Because to me, it's one of those things that, do you have what it takes to get a package done for Andre Drummond? Do you have enough to compete with offers, or are there no offers on the table? We really haven't heard a lot surrounding an Andre Drummond deal, but it's kind of the same thing with a lot of the pieces that are out there. Do you have enough to compete? Do you have players to send back? Because I just don't see AK being one of those guys who's going to send back a second-round pick for Andre Drummond, just because I think that AK thinks that those second-round picks hold high value because, hey, we can use these guys to get valuable pieces on our team that are younger, that can be developed, that can be put in a situation now that you're going to learn and be successful on a team that is now competitive. And so I really think that all plays into it. When we're talking about the trade talk, you have to think of the mind of your GM that's sitting in that chair over there. And to me, listen, we know that AK's greatest success in the draft has been with a second-round pick in Nikola Jokic. So we know that he at least takes deep looks. I mean, even with how he handled the second-round pick this year, he's got Marko Simonovic overseas playing ball right now. So to me, it's one of those things that, is your GM going to be willing to give up a pick for an Andre Drummond? I don't see it, because you bring Andre Drummond in here. Again, he's a guy that, listen, talented, very talented, something that the Bulls could absolutely use. But how much are you going to have to pay him? What's the cap going to be? I think that just all factors in on should they be buyers or sellers at the deadline. Now, to me, if you're in on that, if you make a move on Andre Drummond, you're buyers. Your buyers, go all in, because to me, you're saying that, all right, well, we're not getting rid of Thad Young in this situation. We think that we have enough young talent on this team that we can win now. And how the East is currently constructed, could the Bulls be competitive in this current Eastern Conference by adding Andre Drummond? Yeah, you'll probably become a top 5 team in the East, honestly, with Andre Drummond, especially with Billy getting these boys to play the way that they've been playing. It makes things easier on a lot of the pieces in there, especially Wendell Carter. If you've got Andre Drummond out there and you're able to move Wendell to the 4, you've got Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Pat Williams, Wendell, and then Andre Drummond. That's a very different looking lineup, and it's a lineup that the defense will be at a different level. So they would be a top 4 competing team in the East right off the bat. But is that a championship roster? Because if you make a move like that, now you don't have to tie yourself to a piece like that at the end of the year. But if you make a move like that, more than likely that's something that you're going to stick with long term. Andre Drummond's a guy you're going to stick with long term. Does Andre Drummond put the Bulls in a position where they're a championship team right now? Does Andre? I mean that's really how you've got to think about it. Now, before I continue with the video, I want to know you guys' opinion. Should the Bulls be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. In my opinion, if I was gonna pick and sellers in word alone more so, but I would actually say that the Bulls should be sellers, because I don't think that making a move for anybody puts us over the top this season. Now, by sellers, I don't want it to seem like I'm saying sell the team, like you know, we're not good enough to make a deep run, so get rid of everybody and see if you can find picks. But I'm not saying that, but I do think there's players that we could trade on this team this season that could bring us future value, as well as possibly talent that we could get back. One idea that was thrown out there was Thad Young to the Lakers, and to me, okay, let's talk about a deal for Thad Young to the Lakers. I said, you know, send me back your first round pick, which is going to be a later pick because they're winning. Send me back your first round pick and Horton Tucker for Thad Young, because Thad Young playing at an all-time defensive level right now, dominating on the defensive end and being very effective on the offensive end, being kind of that Draymond Green piece. Now, would I hate to see Thad Young go? Absolutely. I think Thad Young could be a key piece on a championship roster, and we know the relationship that him and Zach LaVine have. They really want to keep building this together. But if you're going to make moves like that, if you're going to be sellers at the trade deadline, which I think the Bulls more than likely should, I would say give me a move like that. Give me a move like that. And this is the thing: if you do offer Thad Young out there, he's one of those guys that is being coveted by multiple teams, so that might even drive the bargain up more. So you're getting yourself more value in the future. He's honestly one of the most coveted trade pieces on the block right now. Like I said, I'd hate to see Thad Young go, just because of what he means to the Bulls and what he means to Zach LaVine on this team. But if I had to make a move, I'd do something like that. Make a move for a guy like Denzel Valentine, who might not bring you back a ton of value, but listen, he's a spot-up shooter essentially. There's trade value for that in this league. You need some bench shooting. All right, here's Denzel Valentine. Ship him up to Milwaukee. They need some help up there. But to me, there just isn't a piece that puts us seriously in the mix with any of these teams. You know what I'm saying? I think that the Bulls can make the playoffs based on what they have alone right now. I think that they will make the playoffs, honestly. I'll give my first half assessment probably tomorrow. To me, when you're talking about, is there a piece out there, like if we bring Lonzo Ball in and we bring in, you know, a big man, Steven Adams, Andre, whatever it is, depending on what happens, is that a piece that puts you over the top on a championship run? Is that a piece that puts you in a position to go on a championship run? And now when we get to the offseason, listen, a lot of these guys are free agents as well. That's the thing you also have to think about. Andre Drummond, he's a free agent this offseason. Lonzo Ball, free agent this offseason. You can throw Josh Hart into the mix now. I would love to see Josh Hart coming off the bench for the Bulls, free agent this season. But there's going to be some names out there in free agency this season. So the question is, do I want to give this up now for possibly a rental? Because I mean, these are, as much as we talk about them, these are still coveted pieces. Like, people say they're all out on Lonzo Ball. Lonzo's not there. Well, the NBA's not. You telling me you've got a point guard out there that can move the ball, facilitate things, set your offense up, and right now he's shooting at his all-time best? Let's get him in here. Let's see what he can do. So I think a lot of these guys will end up testing free agency, is kind of what I'm saying there. And if that's the case, it's kind of like, okay, if they're going to test it anyway, which it seems like they are, it doesn't seem like a trade's going to get done and a long-term deal is going to get done with these teams right now. Is it something you want to give up? Do you want to give up assets? Do you want to give up possible pieces for a rental? You know what I'm saying? For a rental. And so, in my opinion, if I were the Bulls, I would be selling right now. But like I said, selling in the small sense. I'm not saying deplete your team. I'm saying find a couple players that maybe you could move, that it doesn't destroy what you're trying to do this season, but also you're not giving up picks for players that, one, might not be around next season, and two, but also just so you're not giving up picks for players that, one, really aren't going to put us over the hump. It's not going to get us into championship position, and two, that might not even be around after this season. But as always, I want to know you guys' opinion. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Should the Bulls be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline? As always, if you want to continue watching our Chicago Bulls content, click the links here or check the links in the description below. Got a ton of great videos down there from me and Kid. And make sure to check out the Windy City Breeze on all DSPs. We usually post a ton of the audio that we do on the channel on there. But as always, it is your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.